I want a dive comp. Fortress would make a lot of sense to second pick here. We haven't seen that much Fortress, but he is quite a strong doggy in the current meta. They're going to go with the Arden, so that's a protect the Black Feather and also try and stop Celeste being protected. And now there's really a lot that NEBULAE can do. We know Idris is a comfort pick; it's still open. Perhaps double CP Truffy's on the Idris, but we know Truffy's really likes to play Celeste as well. So I think they're probably going to put that Celeste on Truffy's in lane. Maybe put Vainglory8. Well, he can't play as Glaive because that's been banned. Maybe we're going to see something like a Grumpjaw or a Jewel that you were talking about if they want to go weapon jungle.
Yeah, I mean, Grumpjaw Jewel would be good. If not, then I know it is far-fetched, but Vainglory8, he can just play that Rona. He's kind of famous, or rather, to pick out very off-meta comps. In the previous seasons, a few seasons back, he's the first one that actually pulled out the Cruel, when Cruel wasn't in fashion whatsoever. He was the first one that actually took Rhyme and Ozo out of their closet and just displayed, put it on the table and say, hey, guys, look, right, this hero is still viable, it's part of the meta, it's just conditional. But all in all, like you said, it's quite open at this point in time, but for the weapon carries wise, where Vainglory8 actually excels in, it is very limited. We have maybe a weapon petal carry in the jungle. That is really not possible. But we will be seeing a Jewel, and we've seen a lot of Southeast Asian actually just adopting the meta coming out from East Asia, just putting in a Jewel. But instead of throwing Jewel into that of lane, they prefer Jewel to be in that of jungle.
Yeah, most likely to be a jungle Jewel because Vainglory8 definitely will excel more on the Jewel, I personally feel, and Truffy's is certainly a comfortable on the Celeste. And so they're going to go Samuel straight away. I think that's going to be a jungle Samuel against Jewel. Samuel does work quite well against Jewel. It's not a counter pick because Jewel just has to face you and not run away, and then your Madison verdicts are guaranteed to be directional going straight towards her. So that's easy to get Jewel's heavy plating to block that. And I think this is going to be a quite aggressive composition from both teams.
You have a Rose offensive charges, you can Rose defensive in and out of the fight, and you have, Arden, like you said, to provide a little more sustain, and of course, just defense and barrier. But of course, you have Samuel coming out from the side of Elite 8 as well, which is very good in sustain. So in long-term team fights or long extended team fights wise, Samuel will definitely come out on top in the early mid-game. And of course, you have but like you said, you mentioned before, it's that Lyra is there to provide extra sustain as well. But we saw earlier on is that, you really build a lot of health on that of Lyra to actually provide any sustainable sustain for your teammates.
Anime Save Me has decided that he's a laner and he wants to get the first 5 CS for himself. That's very interesting rotation from Elite 8. They've decided to put their jungler and carry together, and they're going to go for this Elder Treant. Looks like Official Pine is most likely to be able to secure it, but it's actually Jaegers, I believe, was able to pick that one up, and yeah, he does secure the Elder Treant. So what do you think about Anime Save Me just going to lane and getting the first 5 CS for himself while Jaegers got ambient jungle? Was it not more effective gold-wise for Jaegers to go to lane and get that CS for him?
I mean, we saw this ourselves in the previous week. Yeah, I think it was week 1. And we saw Anime Save Me did the same exact thing. Immediately just rush into lane, secure 5 CSs for himself. And then, I mean, that way, there are pros and cons with that. One of the big pros is that you just accumulate a big wave for, your carries, because, or rather, for the enemy team. That way, your wave can just push in almost immediately, hoping the enemy can just miss a couple of CS that way, and you put a lot of pressure as well. So I guess there are pros and cons, but of course cons, like you mentioned, I think the cons outweigh the pros. I personally do not think it is at all a good strategy, but if it's working out for Elite 8 in the first week, then I guess it will work out for them all in all in the long run. But, as compared to the other rotations that are readily available,
Delphi could be taking a lot of damage. He's going to use the healing flask. Will it be enough? No, it will not. Arden able to secure that first blood. He's really going to have a very quick fountain with a bit of CS and that first blood bounty. He was going to rocket leap up into lane, try and help save this turret. It looks like Elite 8 aren't going to push the issue too hard, and there is a little bit of CS lost for trophies. And one of the big problems with that rotation where your captain pushes the wave up is when your laner goes the lane, the wave is then pushed. And so if Celeste is waiting for you in the bush with maybe the rest of the team, you're in a terrible position when you're trying to farm because the wave's under their turret, so they're just going to be able to kill you. But luckily for Elite 8, they had Anime Save Me in lane with Hunyegas when he tried to clear the wave, and so he was able to back off, and it turns out Celeste had actually rotated to the jungle instead of trying to push the lane. So Hunyegas is now ahead in CS, and they're a little bit ahead in gold, mostly just First Blood ahead, because the Elders were very, very even between the two teams. I think it was 2 for NEBULAE and 1 for Elite 8. Now Elite 8 want to try and push the wave. Actually, they're probably going to get a little bit of damage on the turret, but not considerable with those minions blocking Empowered Malice and Verdicts.
Yep, and this fits the agenda for Elite 8 at least, because we saw that, you know, one of the big pros, like I said earlier on, and you reiterated, is that, you know, your wave is pushed out. That way, if all 3 members of your team are in lane itself, then you can easily just push down a turret, in which Elite 8 is definitely notorious for. They are one of those teams that are super tunnel vision into objectives if they are going to go for this particular rotation that we saw coming out from them. So that way, I guess all in all, it fits them throughout. And like we saw, trophies sitting at 33 CS, and of course Hunyegas 38 CS, definitely benefiting that of Elite 8 in terms of CS wise, and of course objective control. We saw that, you know, we are seeing right now that the turret of NEBULAE is just down to half health.
Yeah, it looks like Elite 8 are definitely doing well with their turret seed. Help there, Anime Save Me, pick up Candy. IQ Dice can rotate out to lane, but I think there's definitely a CS lead for Hunyegas over Trophy, and that isn't just because he's taking some of the jungle, because Official Hine is even on CS with IQ Die. So the wave pushing that Elite 8 are doing is definitely helping out their CS, and obviously, as you said, turret down to about half health. But level 6 is available for almost everyone, all the carries, but not quite Hunyegas. So it looks like Elite 8 don't really want to fight up against Trophies, because Trophies is 6, whereas Blackfeather's only level 5, so he can't dodge the core collapse, can't dodge the rocket leap, and Elite 8 just trying to poke out, but both teams doing well. Thunderstrike does come down. There's the big red button. There's not quite going to do a lot of damage actually from Jewel. Actually, just a little bit of poke when your weapon, and Blackfeather going to be forced to use the healing flask just to keep himself nice and healthy. But both teams just going to back off.
Yep, and that is one thing that we mentioned as well before the game actually started, and is that the mono sustain coming out from that of NEBULAE. But we realized as well, it's that Official Hine earlier on just got down very, very low. But the fact is that Official Hine, the Corrupted Genius perk, just keeps him relatively healthy throughout. And we saw the immense poke that Official Hine can put out in that early game before Celeste actually gets to level 8. And I must say, I agree with you that Hunyegas don't really want to find that fight there, as we saw the core collapse coming down, immediately just stunning Hunyegas. And if Celeste then actually reach level 6, then definitely Celeste can just, you know, core collapse and then throw that of the Solar Storm into Official Hine's space.
Yeah, and Jewel is actually not there in the lanes. Poke on the turret. Core collapse dodged by the Fate of Heart by Blackfeather there, and he's going to go for Trophies. Stunned up by the Jewel. So much damage was put out onto Hunyegas, and Trophies survived with a sliver of health. Fountain puts him back to half. Official Hine can take a lot of damage from that Solar Storm. And Angry Die with the plays to keep Trophies alive. Hellfire Fountain was obviously perfectly timed, but Hunyegas seemed like he had an easy kill onto the Celeste, but Angry Die came in with the rocket leap, stunned him up, loads of burst to force him to back off, and in the end, no one dies.
Yep, I definitely NEBULAE will be playing for that of late game. They don't really want to push at this point in time, as we can tell from how they are playing. Even Celeste at level 7 earlier on, or even level 8 earlier on, they are still playing relatively passively. Like you said, it will be a very, you know, stagnated game all in all. We have only 1 kill throughout the board. It's very, very similar to that of first game as well. They are not, you know, all concentrated about getting as many kills as possible. Instead, they just want to farm up. And of course, farming up wise, like I mentioned when draft started, is that NEBULAE definitely would have the upper hand.
Yeah, definitely. NEBULAE seem to definitely have the upper hand. 8, because obviously they're slightly behind in CS compared to official Heim. It does look like both laner and both teams are hyper farming their laner, because lQUATER has picked up almost no CS in the last 4 or 5 minutes. So yeah, Elite 8 are definitely trying to get Hoodjaegers up to as strong a position as possible. He can pick up Breaking Point and possibly an Infusion now, so this is a good time for Elite 8 to fight. If he does, no, he actually can't quite infuse because he bought himself a bit more defense. So official Hein did pop an Infusion, and there's a 1.5k gold lead for Elite 8, which is just due to map pressure really. They've been able to take away some front camps and some healing camps from NEBULAE. Most NEBULAE have just been on the back foot, but I do expect that to start turning around now. Celeste has picked up an Infusion and is level 9. This is a good time for NEBULAE to start fighting. Blackfeather hasn't quite got the defense he needs. There's going to be the engage. Gauntlet goes down. Core Collapse blocked, and Celeste is stuck inside the Gauntlet. What's she going to do? She's going to try as much damage as possible. lQUATER is going to go very low, but Celeste falls first, and that's the Malice. That's the verdict. Takes out Jewel, and now Delphi left alone. He's going to portal over the wall, but there's a Crystal Sentry. He doesn't want to go past that. Going to be slowed by the On Point and by the Crystal Sentry actually, but Delphi is going to be stuck by the Faint of Heart. Easy kill. Ace for Elite 8, and it looks like this game could be going the complete reverse of Game 1.
Yep, definitely. And like I mentioned earlier on, Samuel, if you can work your early game, you definitely will be very, very strong. And as long as you're able to just snowball through and just put on a lot of pressure in the lane, you definitely would have the upper hand against Celeste. Yeah, and that was what official High did. Exactly what official High did. When in early game pressure in that jungle, when the sentries were up, he just immediately go on to lane, put pressure into that of lane, immediately take down the first turret, gaining Elite 8 a little more, objective control and map control throughout because of the removal of the first turret. And with that, excuse me. So with that, official High definitely will be able to snowball this. And what NEBULAE can just do at this point in time, just get, just turtle up and just farm up till, trophies get that, broken myth, or sorry, not broken myth, but clockwork, so you can just put out so much more damage. And of course, afterwards, your broken myth. Whereas, as compared to official High, Celeste just needs so much more items to actually put out, incredible amount of damage.
Yeah, there's going to be the Gauntlet going in. It's not quite going to start trophies, so they're going to turn their focus onto lQUATER instead. Atlas does land, and that is going to be onto the Jewel. Delphi is going to be able to boost himself away, but Trophies does not get the speed boost. He's going to be trying to survive. Most likely will not. Faint of Heart to execute the kill. Once more, another ace for Elite 8. And they just have to start a fight, and it looks like they're going to win it. Anime Save Me can pick up an Echo already on the Ardum. And they just gauntlet in, and they just win the fight. Jewel hasn't got the defense to survive all 3 members focusing her, because Jewel has to target someone, so has to face someone, and then Elite 8 just surround her on all sides, and you can't have your you have to have your back face to at least one of the carries. That's really smart from Elite 8.
Yep, so honestly, Elite 8 in this game playing very, very well, and like you mentioned, it is basically a reverse of that first game. Even including in the first game itself, had Elite 8 just stall a little, then they could probably just come back. And in the first game, what Elite 8 lacked was a diver, someone who can just go into the backlines, put a lot of pressure, and just dive the heck out of Trophies. But however, in this game, we see that Blackfeather very relentless and just going in time and time again, constantly waiting for lQUATER with that rocket lip. Once lQUATER come into the team fight, Oblivion just was put down, and Hoodjaeger immediately just shoots for the back line, immediately trying to take out that of Celeste.
Yeah, definitely official Hein taking a little bit of poke, but lQUATER is also getting a lot of damage from Hoodjaegers, and he actually popped his Atlas, doesn't quite connect. But Jewel was forced to back off to the base, and this will be, I think, a second or maybe even a third Crystal Sentry from Elite 8, but NEBULAE wants to try and defend this. They're moving towards it. Lyra's actually not going to go, but the Gauntlet does come down. Sentry defeated second time, actually. Jewel still gets stunned up by the Gauntlet, despite the portal trying to save her. Forced to Rocket League very defensively. Trophies left for dead. No chance he's going to be able to get away. His team just deciding that it's not worth trying to save his life. But the Oblivion does come down. Atlas once again missed by Jaegers, and Delphi is going to fall. lQUATER will be able to back off towards the Sanctuary, and now Elite 8 are a bit stuck, but the wet minions into the turret. But they're not stuck, they're going for lQUATER. The verdict just barely missing with the Rocket Leap, getting Jewel away. And this will be a tier 3 turret for Elite 8. And yeah, as I said, it looks very similar to the first game. Flawless so far for Elite 8.
Yep, I mean, if Elite 8 actually just ends and closes game out with 14 kills, that it will be a replica of the first game, just in reverse. But all in all, very good team fight there. Trophies was isolated for the entire team of his own team at least, and afterwards Jaeger and Official Hein just jumped on Trophies. Granted, Trophies managed to pull out a Solar Storm, but all in all, it's just not enough damage just yet. Trophies settled for the broken mid rather than the Clockwork. There are pros and cons all in all, but damage calcs wise, definitely the Clockwork will come out on top, even if Elite 8 has, shield build-up. If I'm not wrong, I'm just referencing this from X-Counter's video, and I'll just take the word for it. Yeah.
Because it's likely that Celeste isn't going to build up 9 book being bursted, it is definitely would be useful to have the Clockwork. But it looks like Jaeger is actually going to go in, and as the Vanguard tries over the Trophy's building up 2. 3 broken mid-stack. Tor Collapse is blocked by Blackfeather. He's still got a road defensive to try and go in further. There's going to be the gauntlet, but the portal is to get Celeste away, but she's too slow in walking through it. Jaegers follows, and that is a double for the Blackfeather. Jules going to try and port home. Will be able to. And Official Hein actually tried to take the Crystal Sentry, but is far too low to do that. And now what are Elite going to do? There's really nothing for them to take. They just took Goldmine. They just wanted 2 kills because why not? And Jaeger's going to boots towards his CS. It is under turret. And Elite 8 needs to save this turret, or else it will not be a flawless game. You can't have a flawless game losing your tier 1 turret. And they survive it. So yeah, Elite 8 just probably going to wait for Kraken, bait a fight around Kraken, and then try and push for the win.
Yep, we saw as well Jaeger, like the team coming out from the entirety of Elite 8. One interesting common trait about them, the heroes that's picked out, is that they do not need a lot of items to put out significant amount of damage. Take Official Hein, for example. In the early game, you really just need the Frostburn into the Eve of Harvest, and you will be hitting like a truck in Drifting Dark. And as for Jaeger, honestly, you need your Serpent's Mask into Breaking Point, and bam, you can build all defense, and on top of the last item can be a Tension Bow, and you can put out significant amount of damage as compared to Jewel with similar item builds. So
I actually really like what Jaeger has done. He's built a tornado trigger as his last item. You were saying Tension Bow or sometimes Solar Blade is built. And the reason he's done that is because there's no Atlas on Delphi. He's had to focus on, well, Fountain and Crucible because they're so far behind in gold. And obviously Jewel and Celeste aren't going to buy any defense, so they're not going to get an Atlas. So you're free to put so many basics down. You're not countered by the attack slow. And this is just a free Kraken for Elite 8. There's not even a contest by NEBULAE unless Trophies goes for the ult, but without vision I think that's very risky. In fact, Lyra is coming with a sigil. Will it be enough? No. Blackfeather manages to skill up with the faint part. Now they want to go into Delphi. There's going to be Jaegers going in, portal away, but that's a free backline on Delphi is going to fall, and now the gauntlet comes down. No block for lQUATER. He is going to fall as well, most likely to the Samuel. And now where is Celeste? Jaegers wants to find him, block up the core collapse. They depart to dodge out the Supernova. That is another kill, but the Echo Gauntlet is actually jumped out by Jewel before they're able to catch him. And now where is lQUATER? He's going to do a very greedy port. No chance of getting away there. That'll be the ace. Arden picks up the kill, and I doubt that Delphi is going to be able to defend this, but actually Trophies will be up in time to try and defend this Kraken.
Yep, there you go. 14 kills. As long as Elite 8 just maintain with this 14 kills, then all in all, I guess it will be a replica.
I thought it was 13. I thought it was 13 kills at the end of the last game.
All right, then they overshot. They just played so much better in this game. And like I said earlier on, this is down to the lack of dive on Trophies, and Trophies honestly playing like a mage all in all, and he mains a mage, so all you really need is just someone who can get onto the backlines, remove him almost immediately in that of the early game, and bam, he is just basically not as useful anymore. Picking up a Jewel for their team, I would not say it's a bad pickup all in all, But Iron Gudai on that Jewel, or Jewel in general, just do not have the appeal like that of Lance or Glade. So that is one thing that maybe Nebula has to consider going into the next game, going into the next draft.
Yeah, definitely. I think the B-side draft has been better from both teams. And it just looks like the Celeste first pick isn't a smart decision from either team. They both teams that have picked Celeste just have lost so heavily and so considerably that I just don't think it's a smart pick. Obviously, Black Feather does fantastic against Celeste. That's well known about. Weapon Lance does very well against Celeste, and obviously you can't ban away both of them. So it's really easy